we have like mixed language environment, and topic of our roundtable is influence of current situation and how American top management in IT companies think about Ukraine. What is the attitude to Ukrainian developers, to Ukrainian IT companies in this area? And my first question to you would be: do you see any change in attitude during last year, and what change it was?
That was actually the question Rostik asked me, and I gave my answer, but it was my language, so it's your turn.
Let's see if they match.
Let's see that.
I think we're going to see 4 dynamics. I think there's a social dynamic that says there is an empathy and a passion for Ukraine, because coming out and being more of a democratic state and more aligned with Western Europe is something that the folks in America cheer on. So that's one thing. Technically, as two, I think Eastern European folks are known to technically be very, very smart, very, very bright. And I think that there is a feeling in the U.S. market that to get someone from Eastern Europe that has good language skills is a real win. 3, I think there's a value statement that looks at, hey, I'm getting really, really, really bright people, really smart, very competent, very task-oriented, very hardworking, at a very good rate compared to U.S. workforces. And then I think 4, there is a risk that says, the journalists make a lot of what's happening in the East. And when the typical American, if you ask them about Ukraine, they're going to say, oh, it's bombs, Russians are throwing mortars over the border, and that's what they see. That's what my wife sees when we come over, when I come over here. But the reality is not that. I mean, the reality is that it is a stable business environment, that it is a stable infrastructure, that it's only getting better than it has been. And from that perspective, the first 3, I think outweigh some of the risks. But you got to be aware of them as you talk to people from a business perspective.
It does match though.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, thanks. Actually, right to that point, actually, it doesn't, in general, perceptions is not favorable right now, because it doesn't really help, right? Because perception is reality. That's the truth of the matter, right? So actually, in general, in IT projects where actually price matters, right? That price is good, but you have to be delivering product in time, right? So when there was originally like threat, all right, my employees will be drafted into the Ukrainian army or something like that, it doesn't help. Perception is reality, right? So we will be swimming a little bit against the flow right now. So we have to fight that sort of uphill battle a little bit. But there is no other way. There is no other way. So it's actually a challenge for everyone. And I would also say actually that the US can do actually a little bit more to help Ukraine as well, beyond the weapon program. For example, I work actually, a couple of my colleagues are sitting here, we actually not only do in IT, but other products as well. For example, the US still has import duties on consumer goods from the US, from Ukraine. Although Europe has put tariffs from Ukraine to 0. I think the US can do better for stimulate, help Ukraine economically. For example, in consumer goods, we pay about 10.3% for import duties for some of the consumer goods that we were trying to bring from Ukraine into the States, right? Because IT is great, and we work here with IT companies. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But Ukraine has a lot to offer, and we're trying to help in every way as well.
Which is probably more focused for our diplomats, though. I mean, we cannot help from the...
I think it's actually a matter of the Congress, right? So the U.S. situation is complex. U.S. has its own issues. U.S. still has a very huge budget deficit, so which they need to tackle right now. So,
well, by the way, that was actually a pretty good question from like to me, though maybe you can answer it better. Is there any difference in perception of the Ukrainian situation between Republicans and Democrats these days? If any?
I think the Republican Party tends to be more outwardly focused and looking at the worldwide situation where the Democratic Party tends to be more inwardly focused on the U.S., on domestic situations, and doesn't necessarily have as an aggressive stance in helping. I'm disappointed in the current government and the current, policies that we put in place, and that we have been, we failed to kind of follow through on things we promised, number one, and two, promise more than we can do. So from that perspective, I wasn't really aware of the tariff situation. So
yeah,
my congressman and senator will get letters from me when I get back.
Yeah, please do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think a lot of people in Ukraine will appreciate that.
Okay, Taras, do you see any differences in your relations with customers, and how do you solve it?
Okay, so for sure, the war started a year ago. It was like a big shock for our clients from United States, from Western Europe. So they immediately evaluated risks to work in Ukraine. But if you see bigger risks to work in Ukraine, it doesn't mean that you need to stop to work in Ukraine. You need just to change the way how you're working in Ukraine and, let's say, more diversify your risks. And actually what we do working with our US clients, they are trying to mitigate these risks. And for sure the easiest way is just to diversify the software development. They can diversify together with, let's say, SoftServe opening offices outside Ukraine, and this is some sort of diversification, or they can start diversification with other companies and to pass some part of development from Ukraine to other countries. And this is what we see our clients were doing during last year. And it looks like that as of today, yeah, we continue to have some sort of war. We continue to be in some situation like Israel is for many years. But we continue to develop our business. And recently we have board of directors of our company, and we clearly recognize that we reach some bottom points when clients trying to diversify their risk working with SoftServe. They already looks like completed this diversification. And we reach some stable level of working with our clients. And it means that if we are currently adding new clients, we just increasing like size of the company revenue, but not declining with existing clients. And actually this is good news. And we are talking about perception, yeah. I visited the United States many times during last year, and each time in the hotel to my door, each morning, I was getting newspaper and front pages, war in Ukraine, and there's this perception. And we understand that our clients are making decisions based on perception. But we should understand as well that we as well can build perception working with our clients. And the best way is just to provide more information to our clients, what is going on, and to build a strong business contingency plan, professional business contingency plan, communicate this business contingency plan, and you will see result. And as well, we have many perceptions from our employees, people scaring. So, and probably need to build right expectations. It looks like that currently we are in some sort of game, some position game, like Russia, Ukraine, everybody waiting for some mistakes from each party, and we will see this position game for a long time. And yes, this is some sort of perception. Like I mentioned, Israel, we will be in this stage. We should be okay to work in this stage for some time. We should be prepared for this. Shortly.
Can I ask you a question? Did you evaluate internally how much business you lost because of the war? Is this ever calculatable?
We have these numbers, but currently I did not prepare to open. So
at least in percentage, like, oh, we lost 2% of our business because of war, 3, 10, 30. Well, we would be at that level, but we are here.
Yes, so it's not easy for me to answer. So if you take a look on our company revenue for 2014 versus 2013 is growth 30%. But it tells us nothing because we like build this growth for the first half of previous year. Currently we're growing but very, very slow, and the reason is we're getting new clients, but we as well losing part of business with existing clients.
Thank you.
Let me ask one question to auditory. Those you who lost at least one client due to situation with war, please raise your hand. How many of you raised at least one client?
Yeah, only 2 companies lost.
So everything is okay?
Can I add a little bit to that, actually? If you can hear me without the microphone, actually, there is also direct impact, but there's indirect impact. Because one of the actually byproducts of the economic crisis, and the context for this political crisis is economic reality, of course, right? It's not only Ukrainian hryvnia which has collapsed, but also Russian ruble has collapsed, like Belarusian currency has collapsed. And Indian currency was sliding for years, right? So, and because a lot of programmers in Ukraine are paid in hard currency US dollars, they became less competitive versus the Russian-based programmers, right? So within the large companies, we're seeing a little bit on the margin shift from other things being equal with the essential global giants, or let me shift a little bit more work internally away from Ukraine to Minsk, to Kursk, to Belgorod, on the margin. Again, purely economic decisions. They love Ukraine, but just more a little bit comes on the margin more economical. That's why we're observing as well, actually. But I think it will come back eventually as currencies will normalize.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. And then if I can add one more thing, I think what Taras was talking about, the globalization, actually a lot of other companies trying Russian to be global as well, right? I mean, like, essentially everybody wants to become right now global, right? So they kind of like rebranding themselves global, right? They're reinstating their legal sort of like, they're getting like, reopening headquarters in Switzerland. And that's the way to go, right? That's the way to go. And this crisis, unfortunately, accelerating this trend, but let's embrace it, right? This is actually global industry, and the matter of where actually physical delivery, it matters, but it actually is a secondary, right? It matters if, as soon as you can meet needs of your clients on time in a good manner, that should be fine.
Okay, maybe we have some questions from auditory. Does anybody? Okay, I have one. What talks a lot of about opportunities during the current situation. What opportunities do you have? Do you see in talking with different peoples in the United States according to the situation in Ukraine? What do you think would be the opportunities?
So, well, first of all, it's actually way more opportunities talking to Israeli people, and there are a few reasons for that. Well, many Israeli people are from former USSR, so they better understand us. Then Israel, for many, many years, in exactly the same situation as Ukraine is, and they have military industry, military innovation, which is kind of pretty similar to what we may have in Ukraine. And they're openly looking at those risks because they know how to mitigate. So I personally have way more discussions with Israeli people being open-minded and thinking what else we could do with Ukraine, if not just to outsource to the country. In terms of discussion with American colleagues or with American friends and partners, the only topic is that, oh, okay, just like Jeff said, we see the drift of your country towards the Western world, that's fine, but we are not about to step in until we finish that drift, because it's not really secure. So we support you in this, but in terms of opening the office or maybe do something together, if you guys can travel to the US and you can speak local language and be here, fine, we'll love you, we'll help you. But in terms of us going back to Ukraine and doing business, not yet, so we need to calm down things first. Israeli people are not afraid of that at all. That's just my personal impression.
So the main opportunity is to work with Israelis in the past.
Why not? I mean, yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Jeff?
I think a lot of the U.S. companies are looking at this and waiting, and it is again. And there is a huge wave of emotional energy against the Russian government, Putin in particular. And from a financial and economic standpoint, though, it is a bit of a wait and see. You know, we want things to stabilize, we want things to be resolved one way or the other, and we want things to be more of an area where you can go in and ensure that the investment is going to be well spent. I think there was, investments put in Russia early by, I used to work for IBM for a long time, and we put huge investments into Russia that were not due back. Things were stepped in, corruption happened, and I think there's a wait and see for the Ukrainian environment right now with the new government, the new policies, the focus on anti-corruption and moving forward, that has just got to stabilize a bit before we'll see more investment.
One thing is actually, it's also not helping actually. Eastern Europe and unfortunately Ukraine as well is actually also associated with, unfortunately, with the cybercrime and fraud and all this other one. And I live in the States. Every other quarter, like I see another opening newspaper, right? There was like Bank of America was like hacked by, or Target was hacked, and it was mostly European. And the next time, okay, it's presumably people from Russia, Ukraine. So essentially, it's guilty by association. But right now, because of the economic situation, unfortunately, sort of like a little fraud is coming up to the surface. So I don't know what you can do, but unfortunately, in bad times, there's a bit of a crime wave sort of resurfacing, and unfortunately, that's not helping. So there's a big content trend, right? So they will be double cautious. So you have to make double assurance that you're meeting your quality requirements. You're providing safety, right? You're not there you're building long-term relationship, and that's probably also one of the negative drawbacks of this situation.
Some comment for myself. So I can't say that I see like opportunities that the war is bringing. I would say I see some press from the war that pushing IT industry to go in the right direction. And first is many companies are trying to open their presence outside of Ukraine, and they're trying to build real global corporations. And this is very positive trend, and these companies will have a lot of benefits in the future. This is the first comment. And the second comment, what I see currently as well on government level, we're getting more and more people, honest people, who are really working to build a great state. And we have many good programs, like endowment program, that really we have many changes, and it's like moving in better direction, and there's like some sort of pressure we have.
Do you see any positive from collapse of internal market and a lot of internal market developers coming to outsourcing nowadays, or drop of costs given to?
No, I do not see any benefits that internal market is broken.
I fully agree.
Could you explain?
Sure. I mean, well, first of all, internal market was never a huge influencer on outsourcing business, because as soon, let's say, like particular developer, as soon as you grow in your skills, the difference between salary if you work for, let's say, local bank and the outsourcing company is huge, so good guys were always jumping up. Now those bad guys, or not very good guys who were in those internal things, they lost the work, but they cannot find work in outsourcing business, not because of the outsourcing business, but because of their level of skills. So, I mean, I wouldn't say that we have less candidates coming or more candidates coming. It's just exactly the same. Not helping us at all. It just doesn't influence.
Great. Any questions?
Your question, we just discussed a lot about diversification, about risk management, and actually it is defensive strategies to defense. Have you considered strategies to, let's say, kick out Russians out of IT industry or something like this in current times? Because we are injured as a country, we have some reputation lost, etc. But Russians also do have to say.
Well, my personal opinion, I was thinking about this, and I had been trying a couple of times. The reality is that it's nothing personal, but just business. You'll get moral support from people you talk to, but then they say, look, they are delivering results, they are not under sanctions officially. And why would I stop doing business with them and switch to Ukrainian guys if I'm okay with the business and these guys are like just people? They are not Putin relatives, so why would I punish them for what their stupid government is doing? That's the perception. Though I would love to do what you've said, and as I've said, I've tried a couple of times, but the perception and the feedback I'm getting is like that. Again, though, we are not doing outsourcing, so maybe in project-based business it's a different reality. I'll let you answer if you have been trying that and what kind of answers you were getting. Well, the question is, like, can we kind of talk to our partners and tell them stop doing business with Russia, switch to Ukraine? Because there are bad guys who are good guys.
No. Yeah. We are never talking in bad way about our competitors. It's like in bad practice. Like even they are really bad, we should not talk in that way. We should be true competitor and base our like success on our benefits we have.
And actually, it's funny. I think Jeff, if I hear right, you said like even in the States we don't like Obama uniform, right? Although I voted for him. So let's distinguish. There are countries and there are governments, and every country unfortunately has a period of a bad ruling government, right? And there are people here who are Russians by descent. I'm sure that there's Russian plus names, right? So there are bad governments and there are good countries. There are no bad countries, right? So let's agree with that. And if we stick to being, just like you were saying about, let's stick to business, right?
Absolutely.
Because that's kind of promotes what we can
Maybe
do.
your insight will be kind of, the most.
No, I agree.
Because we're all interested people.
Everybody's people, right? And there are policies and there's governments, and there are no bad Russians, there's bad Russian government. And I will tell you that the perception that plays out in the newspapers is that Russia as a country is doing some damage, but the fact is it's not Russia as a country that's doing damage; it's the politicians that are doing damage. And I agree with Vlad. I mean, it comes down to business. And if you are working for a company like Microsoft or SAP or Oracle, and you're delivering results, it doesn't really matter whether you're Ukrainian, you're Russian, you're Belarusian, or Georgian or Indian. It's all about results. It's all about delivering on time and high quality work.
So just remember that fact. In January, in Stanford actually hosted a panel about Ukraine and Russia in the future of innovation business, given the things which are going on in those territories. And I was really positively surprised by the conclusion. I think that Russians are punished way more than taking out today projects from Russia. They're punished in perception level, and the perception from auditorium. It was not Russians and Ukrainians talking, though we were on the panel and we were discussing this, but there were many opinions coming from the auditorium and also from the other panelists, which are not Russians or Ukrainians. They are like totally irrelevant. The general perception is Ukraine is doing right steps towards potentially bright future. And it's only solely depends on them, will they be able to execute and be in that bright future. But at least they have hope for this. Russia already turned everything down, and for next 10 years, don't expect any good things coming out of Russia, because I'll try to kind of, in words, repeat the statement. One guy said, if you think about entrepreneurship, good entrepreneur, that's the guy who sees the day after tomorrow, and tomorrow works to the day after tomorrow, so they predict the future. Russia cannot understand the reality of today, and the perception of all these guys is wrong about today. How can you expect a good entrepreneurship mindset from that country about the day after tomorrow if they're wrong about even today? It's going to take such a long time until those guys will understand where they fundamentally wrong, how to cure this, and then start doing the things that you can forget about good entrepreneurship things coming out of Russia in the next 10, 15 years. That was surprising, absolutely surprising and even shocking for me, and it was not Ukrainian who said that. And it was totally kind of neutral people to that situation. So I think that's the best punishment for Russia already, and just leave them with this.
I think you had mentioned before that one of the stories that came out of that was that some of the folks that are looking at the two countries look at Russia as being kind of on a bender and ignoring the fact that we've got severe financial penalties and sanctions against them, that a lot of the wealth they counted on from oil is really gone because oil is at $50 a barrel now, and that they're going to wake up with a huge hangover that's going to take 10 years to recover. So that's kind of what the feeling is.
Speaking about good things coming out of Russia, can we expect any significant migration of resources from Russia into Ukraine in the next 10 years?
I hope for that personally, but just talking to my friends, I'm not seeing that. Let's keep remembering that 85% who likes that situation in that country. So out of those 15, actually, maybe 5, these are the guys we really badly need. Still though, when they think about migration, they think about not Ukraine, unfortunately. So I know many, many people which are migrating to, say, Baltic countries, really, and definitely to the United States. So I have a very good friend from Moscow who said to me that, look, I'm relocated to the United States, like 6 months ago or something, but my social circle nearly did not change because I'm still talking and meeting with the same guys, just because we relocated all, but not to Ukraine, unfortunately. Yeah, I agree.
Do you see any guys from Russia coming working for SoftServe at any offices?
No, it seems to me if we have, it's just 1, 2, 3. It's rather exception.
And another, could you please share information, if it's possible, about your Simferopol or Sevastopol office? How many guys came to?
Yeah, it's a good example as well. It's like we're using very often cases Sevastopol office is about our business contingency program. Actually, we already has been on occupied territory by Russia, and we saved all clients, all projects, and delivered good client experience. Yes, and we had a development center in Sevastopol, around 200 people. It was a very good team, and when Russia occupied Crimea, we decided that for us it's no way to continue to serve our US clients from Sevastopol. It's not easy. At that time it was problematic for us to go to Sevastopol to propose to our US clients, let us visit a great team in Sevastopol. It's like problematic. And we decided, fine, yeah, it's like we need to make decision, and we made decision. We decided, okay, we should relocate Sevastopol office to Ukraine, let's say in that way. And actually, at that time, we made proposal to all engineers in Sevastopol. We proposed people to pay for their relocation, to pay 3 months, seems to me, for apartment, etc. So we created some sort of package for people to continue to work on the same project, and at that time to be like in more safe from our point environment. We have many offices around Ukraine, like we propose them to move to Dnipro, to Kyiv, to Lviv, actually any office. So, and at the time, less than 20% agreed to move. Currently, I don't remember exact number. Initially, we hoped that 20% will go to Ukraine, but as a result, it was less than 20%. So, people decided, okay, it's like Sevastopol will be new Silicon Valley. At least it was like. It was perception created in Sevastopol. We work with perceptions. Like in New Silicon Valley, why to go to Lviv? We have better opportunities. So the first signs of that, yeah, no, for sure, Russian government managed in some way to support IT industry in Crimea. They pushed local companies, local Russian companies to provide some sort of contract in Sevastopol, and I see that many people who decided to be in Sevastopol started to work for Russian market, but for some local develop new type of Windows, new Russian operational system, like some local solutions. And so this was like first sign that something was going wrong. The second sign was when Russian ruble inflated and programmers started to have salary in dollars in twice less. I suppose it was shock for IT industry. So, and now what I see is that majority of people decided to leave Sevastopol and to go either to Ukraine or to some other countries. So if to take a look on SoftServe, it was very right step. We started this movement in the right direction. It took for us around 4 months. It was like some sort of period of time when we started to build new teams in Dnipro, in Lviv, and step by step to press activity from Sevastopol to new teams. It took 4 months. It was very smooth. All people knew this plan. We paid to all people that left SoftServe, it seems to be 2 months' salary. It was like, it looks like we fired them. We had agreements that we would pay 2 months' salary. We paid to them 2 months' salary. So we tried to make everything in right way. It doesn't matter. When I talk with Sevastopol people, I was telling to them, guys, it doesn't matter where you're located, it doesn't matter who you are supporting, you are SoftServe team. I honestly proposing to you opportunity to work for SoftServe in the way which is we can provide to you. Sorry that we cannot able to continue to work in Sevastopol. I seen at that time that people were frustrated. In April, our team in Sevastopol hoped that we will be like fighting to keep office in Sevastopol. From their point of view, from perception created in Sevastopol, New Silicon Valley, why SoftServe should not be New Silicon Valley. And like from another side, like for us, it was like if to understand this global politics, we understood this is only beginning. Yes, from client point of view, we keep in great client satisfaction. This is a great example how we are managing territory that started to be under Russia. And this is great success for us, how we implement in BCP plan.
Thanks a lot. Any questions?
Maybe I have one more question. From your point of view, how can our outsourcing business change their process in order to make more confidence to our clients? So we have unstable situation from their point of view. So how can we change our relationships in order to make more confidence?
Well, I think we've been talking about that last hour. But I think the conclusion is keep delivering. Keep delivering good results. That's the best you can do for client.
Okay, and maybe some more smaller tips, because in general it's understandable, but maybe some tips.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. Have you been to my previous? No. Here we go. So that was all the answers. Sorry for that. I can send you the deck though. No offense. It's kind of those topics we were talking. Create the mitigation plan. Talk to your guys. Explain them where you are, what you're gonna do if bad things happens. Show them your mitigation plan if those bad things happen. And keep delivering the good results. I mean that's in short kind of something.
Yes, so like I would like just to share information that I heard from other companies how they are doing. So like this is like for you to just as information. So like if you take a look on SoftServe, we trying to build more global company. We opened 2 offices, one in Bulgaria, second office in Poland, and when we approaching our new clients, we trying to propose to them some sort of global solution, diversified team, and clients started to be happy with this. They see that we are sharing risks. And I see how other companies doing that. Miratech, some other Ukrainian companies, they open their offices in Slovakia, and they can share with you information how they did this. So what I see, what is like specific for them, all of them open offices in Slovakia, but nobody hired nobody from Slovakia. Yes, this is the fact. But they diversify their teams. They truly brought people from Ukraine to Slovakia in safe location, and as well, it looks like it's work for clients. I see another examples. Companies from Kharkiv. They built BCP plan when they stated that in case of war in Kharkiv, they will relocate their staff to client's office, to US. So they develop visa for everybody, they arrange this with clients, and they tell this is like the most safe way. So, and you see, we have many companies, and each company has own specific and building BCP plan for own needs, for own vision, and for the perceptions that they can create for their clients. That's short information just.
Okay, let's say many things to our